My name is Ryan, and I'm 42 years old. I work for a company in the apparel industry. When people think of apparel, they might picture someone stylish and slim, but unfortunately, I'm more on the chubby side. With blood pressure concerns. Every year during my health checkups, I receive lifestyle advice. I used to be slim, rocking a 28-inch pair of jeans with ease, but with age and stress piling up, I've gained a more age-appropriate physique. Working in the fashion industry, appearances matter. I try to stay clean and well-groomed, but controlling my weight has been a real challenge. To be fair, I did manage to get close to my younger self's weight once, but over the last few years, thanks to severe stress and pressure, I've gained it all back spectacularly. And it's not just a weight regain. I should probably call it something beyond that. I mean, it's not double the weight or anything, but I'd say I've gained about 45 pounds compared to my youthful prime. None of my old clothes fit anymore, so I had to buy a whole new wardrobe. Thankfully, working for an apparel company has its perks, so I made full use of the employee discount. It's a pretty great benefit. The reason behind these extra 45 pounds of stress is crystal clear. It's my manager, Mary, who transferred to our department last year. She's highly ambitious and made waves as a charismatic salesperson in her hometown before being promoted to the main office. She went from customer service to a managerial role in the sales planning department at headquarters, and everyone was a bit thrown off. After all, she had zero practical experience in that field. Being a customer service pro doesn't automatically mean you can handle the behind-the-scenes work. Still, the company wasn't going to let someone with her reputation and sales results slip through their fingers. Mary had a model-like appearance, so the higher-ups likely assumed she could be a perfect fit for sales. Ryan, she's a real asset. I know you may have your reservations, but could you please find a way to support her smoothly and diplomatically? When David, the senior manager, says something like that, I can't help but reply, understood. Even without hands-on experience, she's been on the front lines, closest to the consumers. Since she's directly heard the voices of those who actually use the products, there's surely something we can learn from her. With a mix of anxiety and hope, we watched her. And she completely shattered those expectations. On her very first day, dressed to the nines, makeup and outfit perfectly on point, Mary opened with this gem. I'm so happy my talents are finally being recognized. But don't get it twisted. This is just the first step in my fabulous rise to the top. I'm using this as my stepping stone to greater things. We were all dumbfounded. Was that really her introduction to the team? Whether she was self-aware or clueless, calling herself a self-made success was a bold move. Either way, her first impression was a disaster. That was the beginning of my high-stress life. Mary's track record, though, was nothing short of impressive. She was #1 in nationwide sales for 3 years in a row. With her ability to adapt her conversations to each customer and make them feel understood, she was a legend in sales. She must be great at sales talk. Everyone expected as much. But no matter how much time passed, the only thing that came out of her mouth was endless bragging. Leave the sales to me. With my charisma, I'll be landing deals left and right. I'm a capable woman, you know. Maybe I'll make a legend here, too. It wouldn't be so bad if it was just bragging, but she always has to one-up others, which makes it even worse. Whenever I try to explain a project she's unfamiliar with, she immediately shuts me down. Just leave it to me. But, for this project, I said it's fine. Don't be so pushy, nobody likes a nagging guy. Even though she keeps shutting me down like that, all she does at client meetings is talk about herself. I'd been the top seller 3 years in a row. Trust me, if you leave it to me, everything will be fine. She throws out these baseless claims that leave clients confused. Well, maybe her sales talk isn't great, but her design idea should work, right? After all, she's been styling customers one by one with tailored suggestions. Many of her clients became loyal fans of her style. With her sense of style driving new trends, next season's sales are sure to increase. There were such expectations as well. But it turned out to be nothing like that. Mary is the type to force her own sense of style onto others. Instead of suggesting looks that enhance a person's individuality, her approach is, if I picked it, it's definitely right. Most of her clients admire her personal style, so when their idol says, "This is perfect for you," they're thrilled and accept it without question. At this point, they're more like her followers. They are Mary's fan base. While her clients might be satisfied, things are different when it comes to planning. This plan will work. It's guaranteed to sell. Every proposal she proudly recommends is all about her personal taste. No doubt it would look stunning on her. It must make everyone turn around without a second thought. But proposing to the public isn't about that. There are plenty of people out there with different tastes than yours. We need to consider people with different values, too. When I tried to gently explain, she snapped back, "I'm your boss, okay? Stop addressing me so casually." My apologies, Mary. Good. And honestly, what do you, of all people, know about women's clothing? Hearing it from someone with a body like yours doesn't exactly inspire confidence. Sure, my body isn't in the best shape right now. I imagine it's hard for Mary, with her obsession with beauty, to accept. But I've been in this industry for a long time, and I've seen trends come and go. I might not have the best personal style, but I'm confident in my ability to spot fashion trends. With all due respect, Mary, I think that keeping a more objective view on fashion can help us create unexpected hits. What are you talking about? People wear clothes for themselves, right? If you don't think subjectively, how can you express who you are? That may be true for a single fashionista, but Mary, this is our job. It's not about what we want to wear, but it's about what kind of trends we want to shape for the times. Without that mindset, we won't create any hits. You sure can talk. No wonder you're stuck as an assistant manager. It wouldn't bother me if she were just insulting me. But she's constantly putting down others, too. Heather, what are you wearing? That outfit is beyond tacky. And you call yourself part of the planning department? Aren't you embarrassed? I'll pick out some clothes for you, so just give me the money. No, it's fine. I was the top salesperson in the nation, and I'm offering to pick something that'll look good on you. Honestly, I should be the one getting paid for this. Now hurry up. Mary, don't you think that's a bit over the top? How can anyone take the planning team of an apparel company seriously when you're dressed this badly? I mean, she's got a point. But there's a way to say these things. She didn't need to announce it in front of everyone. She might not mean harm, but her confidence-fueled one-upmanship is brutal. Sure, she had a track record of success. But that was in her comfort zone, the sales floor, not exactly transferable to the behind-the-scenes work of the sales planning department. Timothy, how could you not land this deal? Look at me. Every customer I target is a sure hit. You should try learning a thing or two. Comparing clothes to contracts doesn't really. Don't talk back. Mary, Timothy is really putting in the effort. He's got a presentation coming up, right? Yes. Timothy's presentations are always well received. Please give him a bit more room to prove himself. You'll never sell clothes with that soft approach. Mary, this isn't the sales floor. I know that. Are you mocking me? No, I didn't mean it like that. I can't work with all this noise from useless people. I'm taking a break. Mary always does things at her own pace. She goes her own way, no matter what anyone says. No matter how much you try to reason with her, she doesn't listen. Worse yet, she's quick to make childish threats like, "You're really annoying." I'm telling this to our president, Mr. Anderson, and actually follows through with them, which is just a nightmare. Usually, complaints from a regular employee wouldn't even make it past the secretary. But Mary is different. After all, it was Mr. Anderson himself who personally convinced her to come to headquarters. He believes she's a top talent, and that's why she got this position. He has no idea what she's like when she's not on the sales floor. What a tragedy. There's nothing more unreliable than higher-ups who are completely in the dark. As expected, Mary's complaints were officially brought up, and I was declared to be in the wrong. Ryan, Mr. Anderson is furious that you aren't listening to Mary at all. That's not true. I'm following her instructions to the letter. Well, it's a problem either way. Just make sure not to upset her. I'm not her babysitter. Why do I have to keep her happy? Even David, our director, is the same. Who is he working for? Doesn't he feel ashamed giving orders like that? Mary's always had to be number one, as she has been her whole life. And now that she has the title of manager, her pride is through the roof. No one dares to question her anymore, and she's running wild with no brakes. It would be one thing if a clueless subordinate were going rogue, but when an out-of-touch, overconfident boss goes off the rails, the results are catastrophic. To make matters worse, she doesn't even realize she's off track. In her mind, the path she's on is the only one that's right, and she doesn't even see any other options. One minute she's boasting over here, the next she's throwing out careless comments that create confusion on the ground. And I'm always the one cleaning up the mess. Mary, please, before making any statements, could you at least get a consensus from the team? That's because they just have a bunch of consensus ideas? I couldn't tell if she was joking or serious. If I laughed, she'd snap, "What's so funny?" and get angry. If I tried to clarify, not consensus, it's consensus, she'd shoot back with, "Don't you dare talk down to me," in full-on demon mode. Honestly, pretending not to hear her is probably the best approach. Either way, it's pointless to resist her. I gave up on trying to educate her and instead focused all my energy on minimizing the damage she caused to the rest of the team. They say knowing when to give up is important, but was I wrong to give up so early? While I was busy managing my team, Mary's rampage grew stronger. I've got a dinner with Matthew from Foster Textiles tonight. Reserve a table at the Peaks Hotel restaurant. Wait, was that on the schedule? You can't even manage a calendar? Timothy, was there a dinner planned with Foster Textiles today? I'll check with Timothy, the person directly in charge. No, nothing like that. I just arranged it directly with Matthew. Just make the reservation. And of course, I want the best table. We'll have the special lobster course. Hold on, you can't use such an expensive restaurant for client dinners. And do you really expect Timothy and me to eat a full course? Why would you two be coming? Isn't this a business dinner? It's a date. What? You've never heard of doing sales through dating clients? You're dating for work? Why would a manager at a top company need to rely on something like that? Foster Textiles is an important client of ours. Their textiles are of excellent quality, and the products we make with their materials are highly regarded by consumers. It's true we should treat them well. But why do you need a full-course meal for two? Mary, we're perfectly capable of landing deals through legitimate business practices. Please stop with this date thing nonsense. Gosh, you're so annoying. Stop commenting on everything I do, you incompetent fool. I'm pointing it out because what you're doing is wrong, Mary. I want to respect you, I really do. Give me a reason to. Are you seriously lecturing your superior? Are you out of your mind? Whatever, I'm done asking you. Ryan, she just stormed off. Timothy mumbled, sounding defeated. Let her go. She's clearly after Matthew. Matthew is tall, good-looking, and single. Exactly the kind of guy Mary goes for, model-like, handsome, and a genuinely nice guy. Don't you think Matthew and I make a great pair? I'll never forget the way she said that and then laughed, with a smirk on her face. A few days later, I was summoned by Kenneth, the accounting manager. Ryan, what do you think you're doing? Ha? Do you really think this receipt will go through? What kind of business are you running? When I looked at the receipt Kenneth handed me, I nearly lost my soul. Dining costs, $1,500. Wait, I didn't spend that kind of money. What are you talking about? Your name is right here. Whenever we submit receipts for meals, we have to include the names of everyone present. And sure enough, next to the receipt was a list of names. Mine and Timothy's. The date was 3 days ago. Yes, it was that day when Mary declared, "Make a reservation at the restaurant." Apparently, Mary had made the reservation herself and gone out with Matthew. Realizing she couldn't justify that kind of expense for just the two of them, she dragged Timothy and me into it. Even if it was dinner for four, this is absurd. Did your department land some major contract? Because I haven't heard anything about it. Kenneth sneered, his eyes practically bulging with disdain. My stomach churned with anxiety. After getting chewed out by Kenneth, I returned to my office, only to be summoned by Mary. She was humming to herself as if nothing had happened, and I knew I couldn't let this slide. Determined, I walked over to her desk. Mary. Oh, Ryan. I'm getting married. What? This is the wedding invitation. You must attend, okay? What on earth is she talking about? It was so sudden that I couldn't keep up. What are you spacing out for? Are you really that shocked that I'm getting married? No, I mean, yeah, I guess. The conversation was so confusing, I had no idea how to respond. After a struggle, I finally managed to squeeze out some words. Who are you marrying? You want to know, huh? Not really. But she clearly wanted me to ask, so I played along. It's Matthew. Wait, Matthew? From Foster Textiles? Yep, Matthew from Foster Textiles. Looks like she was serious about going after him. He was so persistent with his approach, I just couldn't resist. She said that, but I'm sure it was her who pursued him. Poor Matthew probably got roped into proposing. So, that explains the restaurant fiasco from 3 days ago. It must have been the night he proposed, and apparently, it had to happen at the Peaks Hotel restaurant. She got a lobster full-course dinner, 2 bottles of the restaurant's finest wine, 108 red roses, and a sparkling platinum diamond ring. Wait, shouldn't he have covered the dinner if it was that important? I asked her, genuinely puzzled. Oh, you're so clueless. I got roses and an engagement ring, of course I had to pay for dinner. Otherwise, he'd think I'm a high-maintenance woman. The engagement ring was from some Harry whatever brand, and apparently cost $24,000. What an astronomical price! Suddenly, $1,500 for dinner didn't seem so bad, but for a regular office worker like me, that's still a whole month's pay. Wait a minute. If she's trying not to look high maintenance, why is she trying to expense the dinner? Doesn't that make her look exactly like a high maintenance woman? Everyone in the department is coming to the wedding. That's an order. Wait, Mary, people have their own schedules. You need to check their availability. No need. I'm the boss, and this is my wedding. How could anyone not celebrate such a happy occasion? But, no buts. Everyone's coming, no exceptions. The line between personal and professional was long gone, but with Timothy involved, I couldn't really brush her off. Still, wasn't it way too early to be handing out invitations? How long had she been planning this? She must have been gearing up for marriage for a while. As the wedding plans moved forward, she started assigning tasks to each of us. Timothy, you're good at PowerPoint, right? Make a video of how Matthew and I met. In PowerPoint? Yes, PowerPoint. I see. Sure, you can make a video in PowerPoint, but normally you'd use actual movie software for that, right? Heather, you'll be giving the speech as my friend at the wedding. I'll pick out your dress because whatever you choose will be tacky. But I'm not even your friend. Don't worry about it. I'm a very generous boss, so you can think of me as a friend. That's not the issue here. Why is one of her subordinates giving the friend of the bride speech? Mary, do you not have any actual friends? She's now selecting people for different tasks for her wedding, all while neglecting her actual job. Mary, more importantly, about next quarter's planning. What do you mean, more importantly? What could possibly be more important than my wedding? I can't believe they made someone like her a manager. It really makes me question the company's judgment. Mary has openly said before, when I have kids, I'll quit my job. So, I'm sure everyone is secretly thinking, just get married, have kids, and quit already. At least, that's what my gut is screaming. The day before the wedding, I got a sudden call from the bride, Mary, who was supposed to be on leave. She had taken a full week off to prepare for her wedding. I assumed she was finally worried about work, but no, she said this. About tomorrow's wedding, since some of the executives from headquarters are attending, the incompetent should stay home. This woman really only thinks about herself. Her unilateral declaration prompted my quick response. Okay. You're fine with that? Yes, since the executives from headquarters are coming, right? Exactly, so you have no seat. Got it. Well, I'm busy, so... Wait, hold on. Ignoring her attempt to continue the conversation, I hung up. The next day. Since I was no longer attending the wedding, I had some free time, so I decided to go to work. Lately, I've been so caught up with preparing for Mary's wedding reception entertainment that I haven't been able to focus on work as much as I'd like. But today is a day off, and since no one else is around, I can finally get some work done. As I was enjoying the freedom of working alone in the spacious office, the phone rang. I looked at the caller ID, and it was Mary. Ryan? What the hell is going on? What are you talking about? Don't play dumb. Why hasn't anyone shown up? Apparently, as the wedding approached, none of the company guests had arrived. Mary, who clearly didn't have many friends, had filled her side of the guest list with co-workers. But now it was just her and one lonely executive from headquarters sitting there. Are you trying to humiliate me? Wait a minute, how is this my fault? I don't know, but it's your fault. You don't know, yet you're blaming me? Did you convince everyone to skip my wedding? What would I gain from doing that? You were mad I stole your client, right? Matthew's company, Foster Textiles, was the first big contract I ever secured. Matthew wasn't the point of contact back then, but we've maintained a relationship for nearly 20 years, even as the contacts changed. They produce incredibly high-quality textiles, and recently, they've developed a new fiber using biotechnology. This new product has caused a frenzy in the apparel industry, and it's become a fierce competition, with everyone scrambling to get a piece. Of course, I was in the game as well. While every company was vying for the exclusive contract, eyes glinting with ambition, Mary swooped in and secured not only the contract but the role of Matthew's wife. People in the industry had their opinions, but the higher-ups at our company were singing her praises, shouting "well done." The executives attending her wedding were probably there to celebrate this double victory. But that's only what she and the groom's side believe. Of course, they're probably excited about signing the exclusive contract. But I know that's not the only reason. Just get everyone here. We're running out of time. As much as I'd love to help, I really don't know. Maybe they got lost? All of them? All of them. That's impossible. This is a famous hotel right in front of the station. They must know where it is. Oh, right, I wouldn't know. I tossed the invitation, so I can't help you. Just do something. She begged in a desperate, almost tearful voice, but in my heart, I was practically cheering, "Serves you right." Still, I couldn't help but wonder why everyone was a no-show. Curious, I called Timothy. Timothy? You're not going to the wedding? Well, you're not going, right? She told me not to come. If you're not going, none of us can go either. Why's that? She said no incompetent people allowed, right? If you're incompetent, that makes us monkeys. Do you think monkeys are allowed at weddings? When Mary called me yesterday, I switched the phone to speaker mode while talking. I was eating instant noodles at the time, so my hands were full. I didn't think anyone else was around, but Heather walked in and overheard the conversation. Heather clearly heard Mary's comment, the incompetent should stay home. And apparently, she went around telling everyone, looks like the incompetent can skip the event. Our ever-humble co-workers decided they must be incompetent and opted to skip the wedding. That's what happened. What? You're the incompetent one. Why is no one showing up? How are you going to fix this? I'm not sure. Maybe you should invite some of your friends? Or better yet, use your beloved social media. Post something like, "Help! Need wedding guests." You could probably get 20 people to show up in no time. It reminded me of those stories where a restaurant owner gets last-minute cancellations and posts on social media to find people to eat the food they prepared. Maybe that would work here. I wasn't sure she could round people up in under 30 minutes, though. With the venue nearly empty, the executive from headquarters, sitting alone, eventually went to her dressing room to confront her. "Mary, what's going on? Why is no one here?" Well, it seems they all went to the wrong venue." All of them? "Yeah, it looks like it." "To the wrong place? At this famous hotel right in front of the station?" Maybe they weren't familiar with the area?" "Are you kidding me?" She went silent. Don't just sit there, say something. Shut up, shut up, shut up. It's not my fault. None of this is my fault. Hey, Mary, what are you saying to the executive from headquarters? Shut up, shut up, shut up. I don't care about him. What did you just say? Do you know who I am? Shut up. You, of all people, have no right to make a fuss. Just stay quiet, Kurt. Kurt? In the waiting room were the parents, relatives, and Matthew's family and friends, who had rushed over after hearing the commotion. You could practically see question marks floating over everyone's heads. Mary, what? Kurt, move. Get out of here. Oh. As it turns out, these two were actually dating. Curtis, also known as Kurt, is married, so it's definitely an affair. I had caught them on a date once by accident, so I knew about it, but they probably thought no one else had a clue. But no secret stays hidden forever. Eyes are everywhere. Now, their relationship had been exposed in front of everyone, and no matter how much they panicked, it was too late. They tried to cover it up, but with so many witnesses, there was no way to hide it. Mary, what's going on here? It's not what it looks like, Matthew. What exactly is it, then? Mary, what is this about? It's not what you think, Mom. Then explain yourself. Who is this man? I'm just passing through. How could you, Kurt? Was I just a fling to you? Mary, be quiet. What's going on here? And so, the scene descended into absolute chaos. This was the story I heard from someone at Foster Textiles who witnessed the whole thing, so it might be a bit embellished. But apparently, it was a complete disaster. Of course, the wedding was immediately called off, and the reception was turned into a party for Matthew's side of the family, who decided to make the most of the food. That part actually sounded kind of fun. As for Mary, she was hit with both a hefty fine for emotional damages and the cost of the wedding itself. Word of this reached the upper management at headquarters, and Curtis, a senior executive, was promptly demoted. He was transferred to a remote office. Of course, his family fell apart. Since his kids were already adults, his wife wasted no time in filing for divorce. Mary initially tried to blame me, shouting things like, "This is all your fault. You're so incompetent, that's why I was humiliated." But as all of her past misconduct came to light, she quieted down. Mr. Anderson was puzzled by the whole situation and conducted a hearing with the entire sales planning department. Everyone answered with the same phrase, "I'm incompetent, so I didn't deserve to attend the wedding." Mr. Anderson was confused. "Why do you all say you're incompetent?" "Well, if someone as capable as Ryan is considered incompetent, then we must be even worse." "Ryan is incompetent?" "Who said that?" "Mary." "Mary?" "Yes, sir." Mr. Anderson was completely baffled. And who wouldn't be? A charismatic and highly skilled salesperson known nationwide. She's a talent who was headhunted by Mr. Anderson with great fanfare to join the head office. How did it come to this? Mary only talks about herself and doesn't do any work. What do you mean? We think it's because she doesn't actually understand the job. But she's supposed to be highly competent. I guess she's good at selling clothes, but I don't think she's cut out for the actual operations. Your subordinate said this about you, by the way. Yes, I'm sorry to say, but she's not suited for administrative tasks. But she can still handle sales, right? She's good at entertaining clients, but she tends to make people uncomfortable. What do you mean? She always has to be the center of attention. After hearing about Mary's behavior and her track record, Mr. Anderson bowed his head to us. I had no idea it had come to this. I believed she was exceptional, which is why I brought her on board. And she was as a salesperson. But I clearly made a mistake in placing her here. I'm truly sorry. Even Mr. Anderson, who had once praised her so highly, had run out of patience. Mary was promptly dismissed from the company. It also came to light that Mary and Matthew had a secret agreement about the contract with Foster Textiles, which led to the cancellation of the deal. Matthew also took responsibility and accepted a demotion. This was when I learned that Matthew was actually the heir to the parent company of Foster Textiles, and Mary had quickly figured this out, aiming for a life of luxury. She carefully laid her plans, but her lack of integrity and relationships caused her to lose everything. How short-sighted. With the Foster deal back on the table, Timothy and I stepped up to renegotiate. The proposal I painstakingly crafted, combined with Timothy's exceptional presentation skills, made a perfect match. Foster Textiles was eager to move forward, and we both committed to shaping the future of apparel together. We've both had some tough lessons here, haven't we? Yes, but in the end, it allowed us to come up with an even better proposal. In that sense, maybe we should be grateful to those two. Perhaps. Let's work together moving forward. Absolutely. Let's create some amazing clothes. Once again, I have to say, Foster's textiles are truly excellent. The quality is undeniable, and the fabric feels fantastic. The new product they've developed has the potential to revolutionize the future of fashion. I look forward to working alongside them, creating a new era of apparel. To make clothing more enjoyable and a source of energy for everyday life. I want to wear this. Nothing else feels right. Creating clothes that inspire this kind of choice is our true joy and our ultimate goal. I create the clothes. Mary sells the clothes. Our roles were always different. Everyone has a place where they can truly shine. No matter how talented someone may be, it's difficult to succeed if they're not in the right environment. Bloom where you are planted. Such a wise saying. If Mary had stayed in her role as a local salesperson, she might have become a national or even global icon, celebrated for her exceptional skills. Just as I could never be a star salesperson, Mary wasn't suited for the sales planning department. In that sense, it's a bit sad. I heard rumors that after being fired, Mary returned to her hometown and started working as a store clerk at a boutique in a shopping mall. Back to her roots. Perhaps she'll once again achieve incredible sales numbers. Even if the day comes when I hear Mary's name as a charismatic salesperson once more, I wouldn't be surprised. It's entirely possible that in the future, Mary will be selling the clothes I design and bring to market. In a way, we're still comrades. We may never meet again, but wherever we are, I hope we can continue to support people who love fashion, sharing the joy of clothing with even more people.